Welcome to the Bill Spadea Show on demand. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the show so you'll never miss a minute. New Jersey 101.5.
Bill Spadea is compensated for commercial and nonprofit appearances.
6:10 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea. I want to thank Parks Casino and Sportsbook for sponsoring New Jersey Chime Time every morning, every hour on the show. A lot to get to today. But I want to start, Dan, with the fact that it was balmy this morning. It was like 51 in my car.
Yeah, 50. That's like that's the precipice of where you might be able to do without a jacket. 50 degrees is kind of your decision point.
I thought about it. It was a T-shirt today instead of a hoodie.
Yep.
Because I feel like it. And it was warm yesterday. I mean, yesterday it was like 75, 76
I think the warmest spot in the state got to 82. It was the first time we hit 80 in New Jersey of the year. It was a little surprising. I thought about the air. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Right?
But
especially in the car. Where, in the car it was on. Yeah, absolutely.
It was on, no doubt. But at home, I debated it, and then I'm like, nah. But I could definitely feel it. I did an event last night, and like warm at first, and then the air kicked in finally. I'm like, oh my God, it's air conditioning
what was missing
season.
Yesterday was humidity. It was warm, but it was not
it was dry.
humid. So it makes a big difference.
So what are we thinking this week? I mean, rain this morning. Right or no?
Actually, radar's pretty clear right now.
Yeah.
So I'm including this chance of a spot shower today, but I'm really leaning toward a mainly dry forecast. It's not going to be quite as nice as yesterday. We'll have some more clouds, slightly cooler.
Well, yesterday was gorgeous.
Yesterday was amazing. Today's still going to be okay.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, 60 to 70-ish across the state today. That reads like a decent mid-April day. As long as we can avoid the raindrops, I think they'll be very much hit or miss today.
All right. What about the rest of the week?
The big push of rain is going to be late tomorrow into early Friday, and I'm watching the potential for some downpours. We could see a quick inch of rain. We could see some gusty winds tomorrow night, so storms could get a little noisy. Other than that, we keep temperatures mainly on the mild side here. There's going to be a few more spurts of rain ahead. I've had a couple of people ask if we're done with frosts and freezes for the year.
What do you think? Are we?
Not necessarily. I think there's still an opportunity for that. I mean, North Jersey can traditionally still frost even into June sometimes. So, don't think that this is necessarily here to stay, permanent warmth from now through summer. But I don't see a huge cool down in the cards anytime soon.
And the weekend?
I think it'll be better than 50-50. Saturday, sunny, breezy, and 50s.
Yeah.
But then we're back to 70 on Sunday with a chance of a shower.
Okay. It's a nice weekend.
It depends what your priorities are, and I think that shower chance on Sunday is pretty isolated, maybe spotty at best. So it's not going to be an all day thing.
Awesome, thank you, Dan.
Yep.
So Eric, the fares are going up, huh? New Jersey Transit.
Yeah, there was never really any doubt. And
I mean, didn't the governor come out and say we're not going to raise fares? We're not going to put this on the backs of working class commuters? I'm paraphrasing. I don't think he said it quite that way, but. Before the election, he was against fare hikes.
He was, and then when the initial proposal came out, Murphy blocked it and said, I need more information. And then presumably he got more information.
I was going to say, what information did he get?
Well, again, here's the typical of the Murphy administration. They didn't say. He didn't say. And, you don't have a press corps left in New Jersey that challenges him. So, nobody's pressing him on these issues. He basically gets a pass.
Yeah, he really does.
He doesn't.
He never explained the reversal.
No, nor, on any of his varying media appearances, has he been pressed by anybody as to why.
Which is why I imagine he will not come on, ask the governor. With you,
he does one, an original one, yes,
the actual ask.
Yeah, the actual ask.
They don't
governor.
call it that, right?
No, they call it Ask Governor Murphy,
right? Because it's about him.
Because
and in any of those interviews, I can't recall him ever being pressed on a tough question.
No, never.
Whether it was follow the science on the masks or the business lockdowns or any of that stuff, or I don't think he was even pressed when he pushed the $1 billion back to New Jersey businesses to replenish the unemployment insurance fund.
Well,
instead of using COVID money.
He doesn't, not that there's much of a press corps left in New Jersey anyway, But he doesn't hold general availabilities. Past governors would every once in a while they would just have a press conference in the outer office,
right,
and just say, "All right, go ahead,
have a conversation." Christie did it,
yeah, all the time.
And Christie was under fire and still came on the show with you.
It was first media appearance after Bridgegate was here.
Yeah,
and
where you took calls.
Yes. And you know what? And here's the thing: nobody asked him about it.
That's interesting.
Not a single caller asked him about it.
Why do you think that was?
Because the reason you call a show like that is not to challenge on policy. It's because you've got a problem.
Yeah.
You have one shot to talk to the top guy in New Jersey to hopefully solve your problem.
You're not going to debate
whatever it has to be. You're not going to bring it up. You're not going to bring that up.
Right.
And we didn't exclude the calls on it. They just didn't come in.
That's interesting, which is another shameful mark on Governor Murphy, that there was these shows are never combative.
No.
But he refused to do it's a shame. It's a
because
shame,
it is a public service. I mean, more than anything else, it is public service.
But he should be challenged by someone.
But he's not. He's not. I mean, it's the in general, the New Jersey press corps, especially that which covers the State House or politics, has lost all backbone. You have a couple of good columnists that are left that still will challenge from time to time. But the amount of institutional knowledge that is retired or either been fired by Jersey media companies is just staggering. And you've got a bunch of young kids running around the state now that don't know anything.
Well, they have no historical perspective at all. And and so that's we could have a whole conversation all day about the lack of journalistic integrity. But I want to ask you, are you a commuter on New Jersey Transit? Are you heading to the train right now? Or are you getting on the train? And do you agree with me that we have this completely upside down? There's no reason to raise the fares on New Jersey Transit. Why aren't commuters now asking, well, why are we spending so much money on New Jersey Transit? We still deal with delays and trains that aren't clean. I mean, all of this. And now you've got to pay more for the same crappy commute. Are you happy with that? 1-800-283-101.5 is the number. 6:16 is the time. Traffic and weather coming up next. 6:23 on New Jersey, 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning. Talking Jersey, taking your calls. 1-800-283-101.5. So part of the challenge in New Jersey is that there is a constant drain of resources that are coming from working and middle class New Jerseyans. That's the challenge that we have, that when the government looks around and says, well, there's a problem with something, their immediate fix is to ask or force you to pay more. So the New Jersey Transit Corporation, which includes the transit bus operation, the transit rail operation, New Jersey Transit Mercer, New Jersey Transit Morris, they're having their board of directors meeting today. And when they convene, the very first item on the agenda is to authorize a recommended fare adjustment. I love how they call it, so Orwellian, which would increase fares by no more than 15% with annual increases of 3% effective in July 2025. So the first fare adjustment would be effective July 1st, 2024, and then the annual increase is every July. So maybe you say, well, 3% is not that much, but I'll bet if you're going to Manhattan every day, you're probably paying somewhere between $300 and $375 a month for your commute. So, yeah, okay, you could argue another $10, $11 won't kill you. But then you've got to think about the parking, where you got to park your car at the station. Think about the cost of gas, which is estimated to go up about 30% as we head into the summer. 30 cents on the gallon. You add into that the cost of a dozen eggs, a gallon of milk, and then take into account your property taxes. And if you're renting, don't think that you're exempt when your landlord sees his property tax bill for that building go up. He's passing that on to you. So at every turn, New Jersey is getting more expensive. And my question for you is, do you feel like you're getting your money's worth for living in New Jersey? Now, I spoke with a great group of friends in Morris County last night, and they were from Morris and Hunterdon and kind of across that area. A lot of folks that own businesses are involved in construction. And we talked about, can New Jersey be turned around? And one of the things that came out is, it's the old definition of insanity. If you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, that defines insanity. Until we do something different, the results will always be the same. So you're going to go from starting your family, raising your kids, launching your career, starting your business, and as you enter into that phase where you're going to hopefully have grandkids and want to have them around you and retire, it's increasingly likely that you won't be able to do it here. So it's not just about 3% a year. This is how Chris Christie shoved the gas tax down everybody's throat. Don't worry, it's only 23 cents. What does that really mean? I mean, that doesn't pay for anything. But you have to look at the long-term play in New Jersey, and can you name one thing in New Jersey where the costs have come down? I challenge you. I'd love to know what it is. I'll write an article about it. But I don't think there's one thing in our cost of living and our existence in Jersey in the past, I don't know, go back 20 years. What's the one thing that has gone down in price? Can you name one? I can name 100 that have gone up. 1-800-283-101.5, 627. Eric Scott with your news in 3 minutes. .637 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning, talking Jersey, taking your calls, 1-800-283-101.5. So, New Jersey Transit Board, they're going to meet today. They're going to raise your fares up to 15%. Now, they're going to tell you, come on, this is not a big deal, 3% per year. It's fine. What's 3 cents on the dollar? Reminds me of Governor Christie shoving the gas tax down everybody's throat with the help of Republicans like Steve Oraho, the thankfully former senator in North Jersey. And it was only 23 cents. Only 23 cents. And then you look at that and you say, well, okay, but if it's 23 cents here and then 3 cents there, and now we have natural rising of prices as we head into the summer, you're going to get another 30 cents on the gallon. Every level of your commute goes up. And you don't escape if you're taking the train. I mean, you still have to drive to the train. You still have to drive to the grocery store. You still have to put gas in that lawnmower and all the other things that you do in your world. Or if you're if you run a charter boat, if you're a landscaping company, if you're loading up the truck this morning for your over-the-road deliveries or your regional deliveries, all of it. But if you're lining up this morning to go to the Princeton Junction train center or the Summit train station or wherever you're going to get on a train, you're not exempt. And my guess is you're paying somewhere close to $400 a month anyway, and you still got to park somewhere. So the idea of New Jersey Transit, before they do a full audit, when you've got big buses running in the middle of the night that are completely empty of passengers, you tell me why the default in New Jersey is to raise your expenditures, raise your costs. The default should be to audit the very system. New Jersey Transit should be required to do an audit of all the possible ratables. Why are they not monetizing their land, monetizing the billions in equipment that they have? I can tell you this, that's a day one project in January 2026. But until then, you're going to have to suffer the fools of the Murphy administration continuing to pile on. But my question is, has anything gotten cheaper for you living in the Garden State? Let's go to Clarissa in Morris County. Good morning, Clarissa. How are you?
What's up, Bill? How are you?
I'm great this morning. Energized. We had a great event last night. I am ready to go. How about you?
There you go. That's it. Yeah, I'm sitting outside the gym, hopped up on pre-workout, so I'm
there you
probably
go.
just as energized as you are. Yeah,
I love it.
I wanted to kind of come on and just share that I totally agree with you about everything in New Jersey going up, and I feel like I'm not getting my bang for my buck, suppose. So I'm 28, going to be 29. I live alone in Morris County. And to your point earlier, how you were saying about building a future, it's almost impossible for me living alone to almost build a future here for myself. I just went out west for the first time, and I got to say a $14 drink there is a lot different than a $14 drink here in New Jersey. It is just, it's getting ridiculous, the prices here.
Right, a $14 drink out west is called 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Right, I get it. And you're right, Clarissa. And then look at everything else. I mean, look at just the cost of living, the value of homes. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Now, do you rent or own?
So I rent. I moved here August 2020, like right during like the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I got my rent pretty secured and pretty cheap. So I'm kind of lucky in that way.
Yeah, it's great.
But it is very expensive for rent, for sure.
Are you from Jersey? You moved here, you mean you moved to Morris County from somewhere in Jersey, or are you from somewhere else?
Yeah, so I used to live like right on the border of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, like really close to Sussex County. Yeah, so I worked in New Jersey actually my whole life, and that was my goal, was to move to New Jersey to be closer to my extended family.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, with the cost of everything, it's hard for me to even, I'm lucky that I drive to Princeton once a week for work. Yeah. But if they ever told us to go back 2 or 3 days a week, that would be like, I mean, I would probably shell out $100, probably more in gas a week. You know what I mean?
What does it cost to fill your tank?
It cost me about $60 to fill my tank.
I mean, it's a lot, right? I mean, and if you're driving an SUV and you're hauling kids around, you're probably paying close to 80, 90. I mean, that's the problem. All right, Clarissa, let me ask you, what would it take to keep you in New Jersey?
Definitely have some, like, for example, groceries and gas go down. I redo my budget, and every probably month I'm redoing it because I'm spending more on groceries and spending more on gas.
Yeah.
If somehow those costs went down, I would stay here, no problem. No problem.
Good. Well, we're working on it, Clarissa. Help is on the way.
Oh. Thanks, Bill.
All right, you take care. Enjoy your workout. Go get them.
Thank you. All right,
bye.
All
right, you take care. There you go. Think about that. Clarissa, how many people does she speak for? Late 20s, not yet 30 years old, renting, probably would love to own a property. I mean, she and I could have talked for the next half hour. Unfortunately, I got a break for traffic and weather, and she's got to go to the gym. But the reality is, we could have kept talking because you know it's the same situation that just about every 20-something and 30-something is facing. Increasing costs with no end in sight. I'm sure you know, if you're a small business owner, they haven't cut the rates on the NJ Bait program ever. I'm sure you know, if you're a small business owner or an employee at a small business, that your costs went up because Governor Murphy refused to use COVID money to replenish the unemployment insurance fund. Instead, he took your money. If you are a parent of a grade school kid, I'm sure you know your real estate taxes continue to go up to pay for a school system that half the time you got to worry whether or not your kid is going to be thrown into the chaos of gender confusion or exposed to some kind of a terrible drug or anything else. So it's happening everywhere. My question to you this morning is, has any cost in your life gone down? And what's the one thing you would change so you could stay in New Jersey comfortably? 1-800-283-101.5, 644 Fast Traffic Instant Weather next.
Arrow.
$6:52 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning. Talking Jersey. Taking your calls, 1-800-283-101.5. So one of the things that we talked about last night at our event in Long Valley, and I want to thank all my friends there, was not a public event, so not something that we posted about, but it was an opportunity to have the contrast. I mean, last night, we talk about you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. And we saw that, right? So now the third time, the last nominee, Jack Ciattarelli, announced he's running for governor. Same old thing. Actually, funny, in his speech he borrowed from me. He talked about common sense policies. So, sorry, Jack, I don't think you really understand what that means. But imitation is the highest form of flattery, so thank you for borrowing our terms. But, Jack, talking about common sense requires you to understand and actually have common sense. So the definition of insanity in this case would be to nominate the same guy who's already lost twice and has failed to bring any ideas to the table. And why is it so serious? Well, it's serious because we have struggling families across this great state, families that have been displaced by illegals coming in and taking from the state coffers that should be going to support teachers and cops and veterans and offset the taxes of small businesses. Yet you got Jack Ciattarelli out there supporting licenses for illegals. He's not on your side. He's on their side. If we're going to change this state, we need to have an understanding of common sense policies that will bring back the power to moms and dads, grandparents, business owners, workers, first responders, truck drivers, and everybody in between, retail clerks. And the challenge is that the costs keep going up because we haven't had any courageous leadership in Trenton in 30 years. Let's go to Ida in Burlington. What do you think, Ida? Getting harder or easier to live in the state?
Okay, I'm a long-time listener. I was in Delaware, moved back in 2010 to New Jersey. Since COVID, my rent went up 3 times. I'm paying $2,295 for rent.
Wow.
And, just auto insurance is steady going up every year.
Mm-hmm. And Ida, you're not getting anything for it. Ida, where did you move from? Where were you?
Delaware.
Delaware.
I moved to Delaware. I left New Jersey years ago.
Why'd you come back?
No, because when I bought a brand new home in Burlington Township years ago, and the talk radio said, the price is going of the tax going to go up, increase in New Jersey. So I sold the house in in New Jersey.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep, got it.
And I moved to Delaware. The tax was great.
Yeah.
$850 a year. I was there 10 years. The last tax I paid was $1950. Okay.
Yep.
So if I had stayed in New Jersey, I would have lost my home.
Yeah.
Now I'm back in New Jersey, and I'm renting. People, my neighbors, I can't afford to pay my rent, but my neighbors are like crying. They're moving out. When the lease is up, they get like $100 increase. I got $195 increase. One pop last year.
Yeah.
$195. People are moving out.
I know.
You don't get an increase on your job like that.
No, you don't, Ida. And what made you move back, Ida?
Excuse me?
What made you move back?
I have family here.
Yep. And Ida,
guess what? Family left. Nobody's here now but me. Everybody left New Jersey.
Right. It was like musical chairs. The music stopped, and you were the one stuck. Yeah.
Right. So everybody went to Delaware to bought homes. I'm like, I have no tax shelter. I got to pay internal revenue $2,800 a year.
Yeah.
I have no dependents. So the rent is ensuing in New Jersey. All over, and nobody's talking about Governor Murphy not talking about the rent increase. It's going up.
You know why, Ida? Because your rent is subject to your landlords paying more taxes every single year. That's the problem. They're going to pass it on to you. They don't care. And let me tell you, Ida, how many Republicans that you can name that have run for governor that ever cared about your situation? How many Republicans have ever talked about rent? How many Democrats have ever cared? None. And
they build apartments. They build apartments all over New Jersey. Every town they build apartments and apartments. And, oh my God!
Ida, they're subsidizing. They're subsidizing illegals to get a place to live. Nobody's giving you a rent, any rent stabilization, any rent offset. No, we have $2 billion in a fund that is dedicated in our budget for tax relief. You don't get any of that.
You're right.
I know.
Right about that. So
I know.
I'm working.
It's not fair.
I'm a substitute teacher. I'm working now. I mean, I'm retired, but I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm working every day.
Well, look,
I want to be prepared for an increase.
I want to keep you here in New Jersey, so I can promise you that I'm paying attention, that I'm listening, and that we're paying attention to renters as much as owners, because all of us are seeing a dramatic increase in our cost to stay here. And our job as leaders in this state should be to keep people, including you, here. And that's what I'm fighting for. So, Ida, hang in there.
Well,
be strong.
So. I mean,
all right?
I hope you guys just fight for us because the rent is too high.
Yep, I'm with you. Thank you, Ida. Have a great rest of your day. I'm praying for you. Penny, I'll get to you first on the other side of the news with Eric Scott in 2 minutes. 10 on New Jersey 101.5. I am Bill Spadea. I want to thank Parks Casino and Sportsbook app for sponsoring New Jersey Chime Time every morning, every hour on the show. Talking about affordability in the Garden State. We need to change New Jersey's affordability. And as I heard about Jack Ciattarelli's now third announcement, talk about a perennial candidate. And when you talk about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, that is the definition of insanity. So if we're going to change New Jersey, we better do something different, because every time I talk about this on the show, every one of us has some issue of affordability, whether it's your gas prices, your grocery store prices, your general commuting prices, your real estate taxes, your business taxes, just the cost of everything. And we have not had a political leadership core in either party for 30 years that have truly addressed the number one issue facing New Jersey, which is affordability. And all the other issues feed into that, whether it's the taxing and the debt and the catering to illegals, all of it. Let's go to Penny in Marlboro. Morning, Penny. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Taking my call. I'm 71, and I live in a condo that I lost my AC. My air conditioner went. I cannot afford to replace it. I can't get a loan because I don't make enough money. I'm scared. I wake up with anxiety every day. The gas has gone up. The food has gone up. My association fee is $372 a month.
Wow.
It's just
right. What are you getting for that, Penny? Is that because you live in a condo, so that's just everything, the common areas, clean up,
Here,
$372 a month. Wow,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a car payment for me.
Sure, of course it is.
On top of, and I do have a mortgage, a small mortgage, but I do have one, and I do work part time. I do work, part time. I don't know what else I can do to make ends meet, and I'm.
Penny, I know, and I'm sorry, and I wish there was a magic wand solution that we could say, wow, Penny, here's a solution. Let me say this to you, that someone in your position deserves some help from the rest of the community, because when I see, Penny, that the state government spending money on people who are here illegally, spending money on repeat offenders, criminals, and you're struggling to make ends meet, it's heartbreaking. So the only way out of this is to elect a new governor who understands the plight of Americans, especially working and middle-class Americans who are suffering every day. Penny, do you have family around?
I do, but
Yeah.
No, I mean, I really don't. My sister's gone. I don't have. I have a daughter that needs to do her own thing.
Penny, can I ask you, your air conditioner, was it a window air conditioner?
No,
it's your whole system.
Air. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So, I'm going to say something. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to take your information down, because I don't know if there's any assistance available to seniors who have an issue with either heat or climate control. I don't know. We're heading into the summer, and I'd like to help you. So I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to get your contact information, and I'm going to ask around, and I'm going to see if I can find somebody that can give you a deal and make it easy for you so you can at least have some comfort in your home, okay? All right, Penny. Hang on the line. Please don't hang up. We're going to get right back to you. All right, guys, 7:14, fast traffic, instant weather next. 7:22 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning. Talking Jersey, taking your calls, 1-800-283-101.5. Hey, I want to thank Matt for texting me a group called New Jersey Comfort Partners. This is, thank you, Matt, appreciate it. This is a part of New Jersey, the BPU Clean Energy Program, and they offer ratepayers assistance based on income. So producer Kristen's going to send that link over to Penny, see if we can get her signed up. But I don't believe they will replace her air conditioner. I think they are only there to help people who are having trouble paying their utility bills. So we're going to continue to see if we can help Penny get a new air conditioner. You know, Jersey, this is what we do, right? Let's rally and help this woman because it isn't fair, right? You've got how many hundreds of thousands of illegals coming here at the invitation of Governor Murphy, taking your tax dollars, yet a senior citizen, Penny, a solid American, can't afford to fix her air conditioner. And we've got a hot summer around the corner. Let's start with Ryan in Metuchen. Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
Hey, Bill. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. What do you want to say?
Hey, so I just heard Penny on the line on my ride in this morning to the office, and I operate a heating and cooling company out of Metuchen, New Jersey, and I'd love to help her out.
Ryan, that is fantastic. You know what? Thank you. First of all, plug your company because every good deed deserves a positive plug. What company are you with?
So we're First Choice Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, located right in Metuchen. Yeah, man, I just wanted to call in and see if there's something we can do for Penny, if you could maybe get us her contact.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I have it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you on hold. Producer Kristen has her phone number. We'll get you guys connected this morning. Ryan, thank you. It really means a lot. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you for stepping up. We're going to put you on a quick hold, and Producer Kristen's going to connect you to Penny. Look, we're a great state. We're a great state with great people. And how did we let it get to the point where our government is so disconnected from the rest of us? How did we let it get to that point? Work with me to bring it back. Work with me to bring back a government that really cares. When did we start accepting a government of so-called experts and elites that were so disconnected? It shouldn't be that a senior citizen named Penny has to call the radio station to get help. There ought to be a proactive government service to make sure we're doing wellness checks on our seniors. What are we doing, guys? We've got to do better. And I can tell you, the 5 or 6 names on the Democratic side that are going to be entering into the race for governor, they're not going to do it. They're part of the problem. Most of them have been in office for years, perpetuating the same disconnected government. And as far as the Republicans, I mean, come on. You got profiteering John Bramnick, who makes money off these crises. You got Jack Ciattarelli, who hasn't had a new idea in 9 years, running for the third time. We can do better. We got to start electing people who actually care. So I want to thank Ryan. We're going to get you in touch with Penny right now. And everybody else, hang in there. I want to talk to you. Lynn, Mark, Clint, John. We're talking about standing up as New Jerseyans. Take back our state. 1-800-283-101.5. 726 is the time. Eric Scott with the news in 4 minutes. Seven 38 on New Jersey 101.5. I am Bill Spadea. So let's jump right back into it. I've got an update. Our friend Ryan, who called the show, working for First Choice Heating and Cooling in Metuchen, they are sending a crew today to Penny's home to get that air conditioner repaired and or replaced. So I will have a full report for you tomorrow. And I want to thank everyone who reached out. We had a ton of folks that reached out that wanted to help. And, I mean, look, guys, we got to do this ourselves now until we elect a new governor who is going to right the ship. And it really, you have to digest what it means in the human cost when a state like New Jersey with 9 million residents opens the floodgates for illegals who are crossing the border at the behest of the cartels. And when you see that, and then you say, well, wait a minute, so the cartels are trafficking humans from the Arab nations, from Africa, from South America, China. They're trafficking all these people in. We're accepting all these illegals with open arms. We're not doing any way of checking for criminal background, ties to the cartels, drugs, etc. Yet Penny can't make ends meet. A senior citizen in New Jersey on the short end of the stick, and all the money that you're paying every month, every year, going toward people who are here illegally. That's something that's going to have us all just take a step back. Say, whoa, what are we doing? All right, let's go to Dennis in South Amboy. Morning, Dennis. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Bill.
Morning.
I just want to give you information. My elderly mom who passed had issues like that, struggling to pay bills and so on. And she went to her local senior center in Spotswood where she lived, and there were grants available to help her get things done at the house. So I just wanted to pass that information.
It's a first of all, I'm sorry for your mom's passing, Dennis. Had she been ill for a while?
Yeah, she's been gone for about 7 years now.
Okay. Always tough though, right? I mean, it's like even when you expect it, right? It's still a loss.
Yeah, I mean, she lived a long life.
Yeah.
She just died of natural causes.
God bless her. God bless her.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so the senior center, there was no cost for her to do that, right?
No, they're grants.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
She had a damaged kitchen floor. They replaced that for her.
No kidding.
Plumbing in the bathroom. No.
Dennis, you give me a good idea. Maybe what I ought to do is write an article about the various senior centers. So maybe I'll throw that out there. If anybody works with a local senior center, let's start building a list of folks and numbers that people can call, because it's a great resource. Again, it's still the problem needs to be highlighted. That I wonder how many of the senior centers are struggling in their own right to fund what they need, right?
Yeah,
transportation and everything else.
And like you said, this Governor Murphy and this idiot of a president we have giving everything away to everybody, but the people that live here and need help.
Well, Dennis, that was kind of my point. And I said, like, we've got it all backward. We're throwing money at people who are here illegally, many of whom are hardened criminals, or they are slaves to the cartel. And we know it. We've seen it firsthand. We know what's going on. And what I don't understand is how you got two guys running for governor on the Republican side, one who literally is profiteering with his law firm off of the illegal crisis by fighting for illegals to beat deportation and stay here, and the other one who supports driver's licenses for illegal aliens without even thinking about the vetting process, the voting process. Like, what are we doing? I even heard one of these guys on either side of the aisle, both Democrats and Republicans, speak out for the seniors and the middle-class families and the working-class families and the small businesses who are all suffering still from the effects of the lockdowns, yet we're pouring how many hundreds of millions into illegals? It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. And last time I voted for Citarelli, I can't support him this time. And Romnick, he's just as bad as a Democrat, and he hates Trump, so I can't vote for either one of them too.
Who do you like?
I don't know. Hopefully a better Republican will come along. But Murphy and the Democrats definitely got to go.
Yeah. I will say this, Dennis. Hold on, because I believe a better Republican is on the way.
You should run, Bill.
Thanks, Dennis. I will certainly keep you posted. That, as my lawyers have said, I can only say the thought has crossed my mind, but I can tell you it's a serious consideration now, especially looking at what the Republican field looks like. How is that the best the Republicans have to offer, right? So
exactly. Well, Biden was the best of Democrats.
That's right. Both sides are garbage. You know what? It's entered into the serious consideration. There are a few legal things that have to be worked out, but I will certainly keep you posted. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. You take care. Let's go to Mark in Monroe. What's going on, Mark?
Good morning, Mr. Governor.
How are you?
I'm good. Just so you remember me, I met you at the East Brunswick PBA event with Pascarella Nursery. I'm with Mark's Transportation and Jay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and great to talk to you again. Thanks for calling. What do you want to say?
Listen, that Comfort Partners.
Yeah.
My mother's air conditioning unit for free. Have her get in touch with them. They do air conditioning units, hot water heaters. It's based upon your income.
Fantastic. All right, I'm on it. We have the link. I'm going to have her fill out the form, and then we're going to go from there. But the good news is, Mark, Ryan stepped up. I mean, I'm so impressed. It's like you've got so many good people in our state. So Ryan from First Choice Heating and Cooling in Metuchen is actually, they have a crew on the way to her house. So that's the first step. And then what I'm going to do is hopefully get her connected so that this comfort program can help offset her bills going forward. Thank you, Mark.
Very nice. And listen, Bill, give her my information, Mark's Transportation, and Jay. I'll give her next ride to the airport for free.
All right, hold on. I'm going to put you on hold, Mark. I'm going to have producer Kristen give you her contact information, or you give it to us, and then I'll make sure we connect you guys. Very generous. Thank you, my friend. All right, Clint, John, hang in there. I'll be back. 744 Fast Traffic Instant Weather next. 7:51 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning. Talk New Jersey. Taking your calls, 1-800-283-101.5. So we've got a crisis of affordability, and I want to thank all of our listeners for stepping up. You heard Penny's plight earlier. Her air conditioner broke, and that's just one thing. This is just one woman in her 70s who can't afford to make ends meet because prices keep going up. We heard Ida earlier in South Jersey who was paying more than $300 for her monthly fees, and her rent now up over $2,200 a month. Guys, it's crushing. And when I see a $56 billion budget, when I see the hundreds of millions going to illegals, why are we paying for the cartels to traffic human beings? Why are we paying for rapists and murderers to be let out of Venezuelan prisons and everywhere else and be sent to our border, ending up on a bus? And shame on Catholic Charities. I'll say it again. Don't give them a dime until they publicly denounce what is happening at our southern border. Catholic Charities are putting people on buses, sending them to our towns. Democrat Mayor of Edison, about a month ago said, we don't want them here. It's not to dehumanize anyone. It's to say you're aiding and abetting child and sex trafficking. When we were at the border, every single law enforcement group, retired and otherwise, said to us that there is not a woman who comes across that southern border that has not been sexually assaulted. Think about that. And you're talking about thousands and thousands every single day. 279,000 was the high mark in 1 month. So we have a human rights crisis that is being encouraged and aided by the sanctuary policies of Governor Murphy. And to bring that close to home, not only are children being used and abused and trafficked to line the pockets of the cartels, but we're turning a blind eye as New Jersey government. And you've got you've got hundreds of millions of dollars funneled to support this illegal community. It's got to stop, guys. It's got to stop. We got to help people like Penny before we do anything else. Let's go to Clint in Mullica Hill. Morning, Clint. How are you?
Good, Bill. I just want to talk about the budget.
Sure.
$56 billion budget.
Yep.
Only $34 billion is available because $22 billion is just interest on the debt.
Yep.
The pension debt is $88 billion. The state debt, just our state debt, is $65 billion. And they gave us a higher bond rating. I said 40% of our budget just to pay the debt.
Yep.
And you know what the interest on the debt is? 11%, because the prime rate is 8.5%. They got to pay another 2.5%.
Clint.
I can't believe they're paying 11% of...
Wait, Clint, you missed one point. $210 billion in unfunded future liabilities for all these retirees.
Why would they raise our bond rating? And we got an MBA guy.
Do you want to know why, Clint? It's easy. They want us to borrow more money. The governor has been borrowing money since he got into office. He borrows money. Then they found they had a budget surplus. Do you think they returned the borrowed money? No. What they did was they added the borrowed money into increasing the budget to $56 billion. I mean, say what you will about Governor Chris Christie, but we had a $35 billion budget at the height of his 8 years in office. 35. And now wait until it crosses 50%, and that's coming soon, Clint. It's coming soon.
And they're cutting school funding.
I know.
They don't have money to fix the infrastructure.
Yeah, they have the money. Clint, they have the money. I talked about this last night. There is a pile of money that needs to be spent on supporting New Jersey small businesses, creating tax breaks to incentivize new ratepayers to come back into the state. And I believe firmly and have proposed a $6 billion infrastructure investment plan over the first 3 years of the new term to get our guys back to work, fix these damn roads, and create a hiring frenzy in New Jersey. Clint, it's going to happen. Mark my word. But we got to have tough leaders, not the two clowns running on the Republican side, and certainly not the ridiculous left-wing ideologues running on the Democrat side. We need something different. We need common sense, and we need to not just pay lip service to common sense. We need people who've got a proven track record to say, this is what we can actually implement. It's going to happen, Clint. Stay tuned.
Guy that's got an MBA from Wharton. I thought he was going to fix the country.
Yeah.
He's got a business background.
Nah.
Made it worse.
Of course, they're all academics from woke colleges, and they buy into this woke ideology. They're not business people. They're not leaders. They don't care. It's not hurting them. Thanks, Clint. Got to jump. John, I'll get to you first on the other side of the news. Next, 7:56. It's 8:11 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea. So I want to wrap up this conversation, and I've got a few people that want to weigh in, but we're talking about affordability in the Garden State, and it got me on this. The conversation started because New Jersey Transit is having their board meeting today, and they are considering and most likely will pass a 15%, I should say up to 15% rate increase. And they're trying to tell you it's okay because it's only 3% a year. And then you go back, and if you're just tuning in, about an hour ago, we had a caller, Penny, who is in her 70s, and her air conditioner broke last year, has been unable to fix it, doesn't have the money, increasing costs are killing her. And it just really underscored the crisis that we have in New Jersey right now, which is people are having trouble affording to live here. Now, I do want to thank Ryan from First Choice Heating and Cooling in Metuchen, who is heading out right now to repair Penny's air conditioner on them, which is, God bless those guys. Thank you. But it got me thinking of friends of ours. We were in Florida, as you know, Jody and I just last week. And one of our new good friends, Barbara, who is just a wonderful, wonderful woman, who is someone who grew up in Jersey, right? This is a Jersey girl from Tenafly. And because of the costs, because of the onerous burden put on people who have been successful, where New Jersey wants to take all that money, she's now in Florida for more than half the year. Now, Barbara and many of her friends and our good friend Ken, her son, and others come back to New Jersey, still have homes in New Jersey, summer at the Jersey Shore, because there's nothing like the Jersey Shore. Florida beaches are not the Jersey Shore. Come on, it's too hot in Florida. You know that. Jersey has something. When I was talking with Chef David Burke yesterday or a couple days ago at the Jersey Shore Pizza Wars, and I said, what makes Jersey pizza so good? Is it the dough? Is it the cheese, the sauce? He's like, it's the attitude. It is the attitude. And how many Barbaras are forced out of state for half the year
and forced to figure something else out when it comes to seeing their grandkids, living the life that they want to live in the state that they grew up in. How many more Barbaras are we going to force out of state? How many more Pennies are going to be forced to call a radio station to get help because our government doesn't do it? How is it? I remember, you go back a few years when Governor Chris Christie was governor, and he was doing Ask the Governor with Eric Scott. And there was a young caller, I'll never forget it. Young caller calls in and asks the governor to help him with his vehicle registration for a trailer for his landscaping business. Couldn't get through the bureaucracy at motor vehicles. A recurring problem. And the governor picked up the phone on the air, called the Department of Transportation, got the job done. And then it occurred to me, how broken is our government that the only way to get to the governor is through a radio station call-in? How broken is our government that my friend Barbara has to spend half the time out of state? That how many of your friends have already moved out? That here they are culturally grounded in New Jersey. They love New Jersey. They didn't leave because they don't love it. They left because it's unaffordable and it's unfair. The burden of taxes on so many grandparents and parents. And yet we open the floodgates for hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens to come here, many of whom are criminals. And we're paying for their school, their housing, their legal assistance. We need leaders in the state who speak for Barbara. Barbara needs to be able to come back to Tenafly and say, these are my roots, and I want to enjoy the Jersey Shore in the summer, but I want to come from my home in Jersey, not have to come back up from Florida. We have to stop the flow of people out of the state. They're leaving because they're being forced out. We need to have the family value of saying that the Barbaras of New Jersey have to have the ability to be with their grandkids and their family. Why are we separating families? That's the real separation. We talk about the false narrative of separating families at the border when it was really only Donald Trump protecting these kids who were being trafficked by cartels. The real family separation is how many grandparents are stuck in New Jersey where their kids and grandkids have moved out of state. How many grandparents have had to move out of state and now they got to go back and forth? Why? Because culturally they're with us. You know, New Jersey is an attitude as much as it's a state. And I love it here. And I'm staying. And we're going to dig in and we're going to fix it. And my goal is that the Jersey girl from Tenafly is able to come back to New Jersey and say, I can stay here because we've changed how the taxes work. We've stopped raking our folks over the coals to pay for every pet project of these special interest leftists. We got to stop it. We got to turn it around, and we're going to do it. And it doesn't happen overnight, but we can get it done in one budget cycle. I can tell you that. All right, it's 8:16. Heather, John, I will be right back. Right now, though, traffic and weather next. $8:22 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea. Let's jump right back into it. So talking about New Jersey and who speaks for Penny, who speaks for Barbara, who speaks for all of the folks in New Jersey that love this state and want to stay and are just being driven out by reckless political policies, egregious overspending, borrowing, irresponsible management, all of these things. And the solution? Charge you more. Charge you more. Outrageous. New Jersey Transit considering a 15% rate hike today. Disgusting. Let's go to my friend Heather Darling, who is the elected Morris County surrogate. Morning, Heather. How are you?
Good morning, Bill. I see you travel all over the world. I'm loving it. At least all over the country, anyway.
Yeah, we've been really busy. I mean, Texas to Florida to here. You know why? Because, Heather, I mean, the truth is, to solve the problem in New Jersey, I think you got to pull in the knowledge and the resources from around the country.
It's so true. I mean, honestly, when I'm part of COANs, constitutional officers, we learn from one another. You learn best practices from somebody else. You take the best stuff and you bring it elsewhere.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, New Jersey Transit, this is ridiculous. You know, when you look at New Jersey in the totality, like you just said, you've got a crisis in the suburbs where you're bringing people from the cities to the suburbs that rely on transit.
Yes.
We're building affordable housing. They don't have cars. We're doing things to make it cheaper. They talk about bringing rail to places it's never been at astronomical costs. I mean, it's millions of dollars a mile to put down rail. And now you're bringing out buses. You're raising the rates. The people can't get to the cities where the jobs are that they're taking them away from. And everything is get out of your car. Let's save the environment. Stop putting emissions into it by being on the road alone. Get on a bus. We'll make it easier. We'll make it cheaper. Raise the gas tax, then raise the transit tax, whether it's the buses, whether it's the trains. This state is so backwards. Everything is designed to just increase the costs all across the board. Everything that is designed to give us a discount is ultimately a lie. And that is a terrifying way to operate. And it's a way, as you know, it's unsustainable. You talk about this all the time.
You know, actually, Heather, I'm glad you said that. That is exactly the word I was about to add, that it's unsustainable. I mean, you look at New Jersey Transit, and when I think of just like, when's the last time that a rate hike was tied to an audit? I mean, you run the surrogate's office. Imagine if you're like, hey, we're just going to have to increase the budget to our office. I need more money. Well, Heather, how are you spending the money? Well, you don't need to know that. I just need more. Like, it does. Yeah. It should work that way. But that's literally what's happening.
Let's break it down to a small business, because at least if I really needed it, my commissioners could raise the taxes and we could get it. But what do you do if you're a small business owner? All these guys that went out of business and that are still going out of business because now, you know, look at California, $20 an hour. Here we're at 15. That's going to go up. And what happens? You didn't go to school, not you, but somebody didn't go to school. And they're relying on a job that's meant for a high school or a college student to have a first job, learn some responsibility, learn how to balance a checkbook, and then move on and have a bigger and better job. They're not meant to raise a family. So now you raise the wage at a fast food place, which now you have to raise the wage everywhere, because if the guy at McDonald's makes more than me, a teacher, for example, makes more than a teacher, now all of a sudden the teacher can't afford to teach for that. Right. So the teacher charges more, your school taxes go up, the truck driver wants more, it costs more to deliver your goods, everything is more. And the guy's making $20 an hour now. It's worth less than when he was making 15 or 10.
It's exactly right. They are literally devaluing our entire economy. Heather, thanks for the common sense. Appreciate you. We'll see you soon.
Have a great day, Bill.
All right, thanks. You take care. That's Heather Darling, who is running for re-election as Morris County surrogate. I support her 100%. She is one of the good guys, no doubt about it. All right, John, I'll get to you first after the news, which is next in about 2.5 minutes with Eric Scott. 8:39 on New Jersey 101.5. I want to thank Parks Casino and Sportsbook for sponsoring New Jersey Chime Time every morning, every hour on the show. As you may know, I am Bill Spadea, and I'm with you till 10 o'clock this morning. John, hang in there. I'm going to get back to you, but first, we have a controversy that we need to solve. Now, Eric, I don't know where you are in this. Kristen, you asked the question, so I'm going to set this up. I did the Pizza Wars the other day with my good friend Umberto, and we decided, well, all right, let me say this. We had so many pizza place recommendations from our listeners that I thought instead of going north, south, central, and shore, we did east and west, which is an old school, as you know, New Jersey up to 1702, so before it was a state, was divided east and west. But it makes the most sense. So East New Jersey is basically the shore and the affiliation with New York. If you're saying, when you say the city, if I say the city and I mean New York, I'm east.
Right.
If I say the city and I mean Philly, I'm west. With the exception of Atlantic County, Cape May County, totally oriented to Philadelphia. So even though they're really on the eastern side, I consider that west. Now, here's the thing, and Eric, I want you to weigh in on this. Manville. Where's Manville? Is that east or west?
Manville's tough because if you go due east, it's Perth Amboy. If
right?
you go due west, it's Frenchtown on the PA border. And it is almost equidistant between those 2 points.
So Manville is like ground zero for the dividing line.
Right.
It's almost like a DMZ. Maybe we'll call Manville neutral. And we'll have its own, what do you think?
It's going to be its own post?
Its
Just
own
Manville?
post. Manville. No. How many pizza places do you think are in Manville? Let's do the
pizza.
over-under. You know Manville? Is that where it is?
It's amazing. That pizza's great.
I've never been there.
Oh,
have you been
have
there, Eric? I don't spend I pass through Manville often.
I'm pretty sure Barstool went.
Oh, really?
Manville
so
pizza. I'm pretty sure.
I am thinking if you live in Manville, are you a Giants fan or are you an Eagles fan?
You're a Giants
Oh,
fan.
that's Giants territory.
Yeah.
I say we call it East then.
Really?
Oh, no. Is that take it out of the post?
Well, that's okay.
Well,
but
it would be
called it West.
slightly.
What do you think? I don't know. Should we vote on it?
I think the distance between, if I'm just looking at distances, I think the distance to the Raritan Bay is slightly shorter than the distance to the Delaware River.
I would. It's also east of Bridgewater.
Well, I was actually going to mention that. So I went to high school in Somerville. I went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
I went to school with kids from Manville, and the city was New York.
I think we got to call it. I think it's
then
east.
I guess maybe,
Okay.
maybe.
I think we call Manville east.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize it was that far east. I thought it was closer.
Right.
Originally,
Because you think of Bridgewater as central.
Yep.
You know, the Raritan Bay, it's almost like a third of the distance. So the discussion, Eric, is because I want to have this post of pizza places east and pizza places west.
Right.
And I think it's a more natural divide for New Jersey because I think more culturally, you are either Philly oriented or New York oriented. But the New York orientation goes south. I mean, you're in Toms River, Manchester, areas like that. I think you're more oriented to the city. I mean, Monmouth County and Ocean County are commuter counties to Manhattan.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, you're talking about east-west,
It's
meaning
old school.
east New York City, west Philadelphia.
Yes.
Instead of, so it's kind of like one of those crazy 295 east-west things where it's not really east-west, but sometimes east means north and west means south.
Yes. So if I'm looking at a map, to the right side of 287 is east. To the left is west. Right?
Yes, but then Manville falls to the west of 287. So that there's a flaw in your logic there.
Yeah, you know why? Because 287 actually doesn't go north and south. It really does go east and west. I mean,
Well, it goes east and
carries
west,
all
and
the
then
way out.
eventually goes to
It's impossible, right?
Do you understand that anybody else, if you are not from New Jersey, if you are listening to this conversation right now, they're going, what are they talking about?
Right.
But everybody in Jersey are like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense because sometimes you do have to go east to go north and west to go south.
I do appreciate how optimistic and positive you are that what they're saying is, oh, yeah, I understand that. Here's what they're really saying. What an ass that Spadea is. What the hell's wrong with him?
That could be just a blanket statement for anything. It doesn't just have to be about this issue.
Right. The Jersey attitude comes out. All right. John, Jerry, Brian, I'm coming right back. It's 8:44. Do you live in East or West New Jersey? Is it time that we completely change the map? I think so. 8:44, Fast Traffic Instant Weather next. It's 8:52 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning. Talking Jersey, taking your calls, 1-800-283-101.5. All right, talking about East and West Jersey, but I do want to let John in Highland Park weigh in. He's been on hold for a while, and he wanted to talk a little bit about the income and the spending situation that we have, the crisis we have in Jersey. Hey, John, how are you?
Good morning.
Morning.
It wasn't that long. I got to practice patience. It only took an hour or so to get through to you.
That's not too bad. An hour's not bad on a busy morning, John.
Yeah, but I figure what I had to say is important, so I'll tell you.
Well, let's hear it.
Middlesex County Action Board, Puerto Rican Action Board, in Middlesex County. If you meet the income requirements, they'll put floors in, roofs, windows, insulation.
Really?
Heaters,
And wait, now who is the group?
It's called Middlesex County Puerto Rican Action Board, but you don't have to be Spanish or Puerto Rican. Just that's what it's called, and anybody can go there if you meet the income.
Why do they call it the Puerto Rican Action Board? Oh, I see it here. Partners in your life journey. I mean, I imagine they. Oh, I see. All right. Yeah, you know what? This is great. I will. I think what I'm going to do, John, is have a. I'm going to put a list out of all the different resources that are available to seniors around the state because I get so many calls.
I know people that use them, and they're very helpful.
Okay. All right, John. Well, thank you. It's a great tip. I'm going to add them to the list. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you for the patience of staying on hold. All right. Pizza Wars. East and West, guys. I'm on a new kick. I think we divide the state in a different way. I think East and West makes a lot more sense than North and South because North and South led to the debacle of the legislature calling Central Jersey a thing and totally ignoring the Jersey Shore, which I don't know about you, but made me angry. If you're not angry in Ocean and Monmouth County, you're not paying attention. Let's go to Jerry in Whiting. Morning, Jerry.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. It's good seeing you on Monday. I feel the exact same way, especially about this whole Central Jersey thing. They just packaged up Ocean and Monmouth together and threw us into Central, and we consider ourselves down the shore. We always
exactly, Jerry. It's not fair. Now, I would argue that a place like, let's say, Plumstead, I'd put in Central Jersey because Plumstead, Ocean County, but very different than Seaside.
Cream Ridge, how about that?
Yeah, I'd say that's on the border. What do you think?
Definitely border town.
Yeah, border, right? Because you look at the map. I mean, you've got places like you get out to Barnegat, Stafford, Little Egg Harbor. I mean, these are shore towns. But then you go a little bit west. I mean, my thought is once you get to the New Egypt area, if you're in and around the Joint Base, to me, that's central. I would draw the line probably at Lakehurst. I think Lakehurst and East would be the shore.
Yeah, I would say, well.
And like Manchester, is Manchester central or shore? I think it's shore.
I'd have to say it's close enough to the shore.
Yeah, I agree.
Over the bridge into Seaside in 15 minutes.
Yep, I would agree. I would put Jackson though as central and Howell as shore.
Well, what do you think?
That's what I think. But I would. But here's my thought, Jerry, is that none of it was actually fair. That we're really oriented differently, and we are really an East and a West state because you are either New York City oriented or Philadelphia oriented.
Right. Pennsy and New York are the two biggies here.
Yeah, and they're culturally, they're totally different. Anyway, wasn't that Jersey Shore Pizza Wars awesome?
It was great. I had a great time playing with the band.
Yeah. How long have you been playing drums, Jerry?
I've been playing since I was 12, and I am in my 60s. So
I love it. That's awesome. Well,
yeah, it was great seeing everyone. I was shocked because we were in the main room.
Yeah.
When we went to that secondary room, how many pizzerias were actually there? I was blown away by it.
It was what was amazing is, I got there relatively early. Almost all the pizza was gone. They were rushing to bring in more pizza because people had scarfed so much of it down. And everybody did a great job. The smell when you walk in the room, the whole thing was awesome. All right, man, got to jump. Good to talk to you, Jerry. Great meeting you the other night.
Same here. Have a great one.
All right, you take care. Brian, I'll get to you first on the other side of the news with Eric Scott coming up in 2.5 minutes. 9:10 on New Jersey 101.5. I am Bill Spadea. I want to thank Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app for sponsoring New Jersey Chime Time every morning, every hour on the show. All right, Eric, I feel the need to call you out on something. You've mocked me mercilessly, and you were right to do it when I stood in my refrigerator eating pasta by hand when I had packed up all the utensils and the curtains were all off the windows and people, I'm sure, were driving by watching this scene in my last house before we moved. But did you really take a half an apple pie to bed last night?
I did. Well, Sandra wasn't home. So
I mean, if you're hungry
For the late night snack, you went sweet, but you didn't like. First of all, you ate the pie out of the pan, which I also get. I would have done that too, but you added to it. Like you're adding whipped cream to it.
I added whipped cream to it.
How long did it take you to get to sleep after that?
I think I just passed out at some point, but it was
and then you left the pie pan.
Well, I was already in bed, so I wasn't getting back up to go. I had just eaten half of. Well, I rationalized it to myself that one piece probably wasn't going to satisfy my hunger. If I had two, I was only going to leave two pieces left. It was one of Lois's amazing pies from Easter.
So it was delicious.
But then it was going to be a week old, and I can't just leave it back downstairs in the fridge.
Because it was frozen, so you defrosted it.
Yeah, and I don't want it to go to waste.
I get it.
I had to, it was eat it or throw it out.
I am a clean plate guy. I mean, ingrained in my head, I'm sure when you were a kid too, there are kids starving in China. You better finish everything on your plate.
Yep.
I never understood that. Even as a kid, I'm like, are you sending the rest of my plate to China? I don't understand. How is this working? That this is somehow my problem. But I've always been a clean plate guy, so I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it was. Look, I don't feel good about it. I know I'm going to spend an extra 20, 30 minutes on the Peloton today.
I was going to say, you got to work that off, right? This is like half confessional and half therapy.
Yeah,
the radio show.
Yeah.
So at least you've come clean. Admitting you have a problem is the first step.
And then I get the text this morning. Why is there a pie plate in our bedroom? and the response, these things happen.
These things do happen. It is 9:12. All right, Brian, sorry. I will get right back to you talking about the pizza guys across the state. What's your go-to pizza place? We've got a post up. Yes, pizza places in West Jersey. You know why? Because there's East Jersey and West Jersey. And both are unaffordable right now, and we're going to fix that. 1-800-283-101.5 is my number. 9:13 is the time. Traffic and weather next. 9:23 on New Jersey 101.5. Good morning. I am Bill Spadea. Let's get back into it. East and West. I think there's an East New Jersey and a West New Jersey. I draw that line from really through, I'm going to say, through Parsippany and south. I mean, if you look at New Jersey, if you're oriented to New York City, you're east. If you're oriented to Philly, you're west. And I think the line curves because you could not put Atlantic City to Cape May, even though they are on the East Coast. I would put them in west because they're really Philly commuter areas. Do you agree? Let's go to Brian on 295. Brian, the cheese guy. What's going on, man?
Hey, Bill. How are you?
Good.
Brian, the cheese guy here.
Yeah, how you doing?
Love this topic.
Right? What do you think? You like this idea, East and West? I think it's time to change something.
Here's what I was thinking when you started talking about this. You mentioned Manville.
Yeah.
In the center of New Jersey.
Right.
And I started thinking about all my operators out there, thousands of pizza shops that I call on in New Jersey, Pennsylvania. The lineage, 90% of the lineage of pizza shops in New Jersey goes back to Brooklyn. So you have to look at pizza men like black belts in karate or jiu-jitsu. They all learn from somebody.
I love it.
They have a lineage. And that's why you'll go to one shop. I could walk in and see a display on the counter.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, you worked for so-and-so. They go, how do you know? Because I could tell by the way they put out their display.
So you're saying basically where's the epicenter? Where's the origin? Is it Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
It's Brooklyn.
So they came from Italy.
It's like the Mesopotamia.
They worked in pizzerias in Brooklyn, and they said, you know what? Back in the 70s and 60s, I'm going to the promised land. They went to New Jersey. They went to eastern Pennsylvania. I used to call on shops out in Berwick, all the way out by Harrisburg. Everybody there was from Brooklyn.
Now, all right, so Brian, do you think, though, that holds true if I cross into Trenton, Cherry Hill, areas like that? I don't think so. I think you're getting a Philly influence.
No, so interesting you bring up Trenton. A lot of the Trenton pie with the swirl on top.
Yeah, the tomato pie
came from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. That's why a lot of those guys use it like a Mac and Mank. Or I shouldn't mention the shops, but
no, you can.
A lot of these shops with the swirl on
top.
Plug
them, yeah.
A lot of those guys.
So wait a minute, the swirl. So now you got me thinking about Cleese, one of my favorite bar pizzas out there. Right? They do the upside down pizza, right?
Yep.
They do the swirl of the sauce. That's a Trenton thing, which is a Wilkesboro, Pennsylvania thing. Come on.
Maruca's. That came from Angelo's Pizza in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
No kidding. So Clee's Bar and Grill, it's in Seaside Heights. Man, I haven't been there in a while. I need to get back to Clee's. Oh, my God. The pizza there is fantastic.
So I'm in a shop right now, Brooklyn Original in Haddon Heights, New Jersey.
Really?
Been here, Bill?
What's it called?
This guy, Brooklyn Original, Haddon Heights.
No. Do you know the owner?
Yeah, I'm standing right next to him.
Oh, tell him I say hi. Tell him I want to do a meet and greet. And you know, I'm not just looking for free pizza.
No, you come down here, you'll be blown away by his display.
All right, so Haddon Heights. So do me a favor, Brian. Let's get the owner on the phone with Kristen, and let's get that because I'd love to do a walkthrough just to say hello, plug the pizza shop. That's what we do.
Sure.
All right, hold on one second. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, man. There's Brian, the cheese guy with the pizza tip. Brooklyn Original Pizzeria in Haddon Heights. I love pizza. 1-800-283-101.5 is my number. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Other side of the news coming up in 3 minutes with Eric Scott.
Man.
$9:37 on New Jersey 101.5. I am Bill Spadea with you till 10 o'clock this morning. Talking Jersey, taking your calls, 1-800-283-101.5. So, producer Kristen, Eric, you'll love this. So yesterday we did the Pizza Wars on, what was it, on Monday? Monday night. But before the Pizza Wars, I stopped by this place, Talercio's. Mm-hmm. Now, Talercio's has a Red Bank address. So in our tweet about it, I'm like, it was great to be with the owners at Talercio's in Red Bank. So most people appreciated the fact that we're at these small businesses, et cetera. One guy tweets at me. He said, basically, it's embarrassing that I didn't know it was actually in Middletown.
Oh.
And I think it's a unique Jersey thing because I live in Princeton. And I've talked about this, that my house was actually listed in Lawrence Township. So somebody made a mistake because in the Princeton area, and I didn't realize this was Red Bank too, you were in South Brunswick, Princeton address. Hopewell, Princeton address.
Oh,
Lawrence, right? So it's the easiest thing to slip up on, but people get mad.
They do.
Well, and even within individual townships, like I know that, it's, if you say you're from Lawrence, are you from Lawrence Township or are you from Lawrenceville? Because there's a difference.
There's a
difference. Are you from Princeton or
Lawrenceville is like what used to be Princeton Borough.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
The main street where Fedora's, that restaurant, a few other great places. Vidalia. I think Vidalia's is there, right?
There. Yep.
Fantastic place. Yep. Chef there is awesome. Yep. So how do you, there's no way around it. People look to be angry. Like this guy was mad. But I'm like, I didn't want to react to the tweet, but I almost tweeted back a screenshot of the address. like, dude, it's Red Bank. Like, right. I get it. I mean, but yeah, people I don't like that. Can we change that?
What?
You should have the address of the town you live in.
Well, is
that too much to ask, Jersey?
Princeton is one of those towns, and you know it well because of the businesses there. Businesses will fight to get the Princeton address, even if they are not in Princeton, because they want the cachet. Now, I'm not to say, is there more cachet, Toms River versus Middletown? I don't know. Is there an advantage to that?
I mean, Red Bank is similar to Princeton in that you've got the higher end shops. You've got there's money. I mean, I get that. But, as Kristen was saying, like South Brunswick, I don't know. If I live in South Brunswick, I could have pride for South Brunswick.
Of course.
You live in Lawrence. You love it.
I live in Lawrenceville.
Oh, sorry. Wait, you're not Lawrence Township?
Well, Lawrenceville is in Lawrence Township, but...
Oh, my God. You know what? I should just stop. I should just stop. I have no business being on the air as the voice of New Jersey. It is so confusing. I challenge anybody to know all of the nuances of what towns are what.
Well,
right?
But it's a losing battle. It's like trying to debate whether there's a Central Jersey or not. I mean, those are the pork roll or Taylor ham debates. Those are the things that people will will fight and argue over, and they'll be like, "This is the hill I choose to die on."
It's just like I'm looking through the thread here. So here's a guy says, it reminded me of the Seinfeld, and you want to be my latex salesman. Guy's like, and you want to be my governor, and it's like it would help to know what town you're actually in. Somebody else, it's in Middletown, not Red Bank. But the mailing address is Red Bank. Like, thank you for the geographic lesson. Again, tweet after tweet. Best around. But totally Middletown, not Red Bank. Like, it's funny. I'll be honest, I would not think to correct anyone if they said Princeton when it was actually in Hopewell.
Right.
Who cares? Why is that a thing? Now, the other side of it is, and we had this conversation, I've told this story in speeches, that there was a mistake on my house that we bought that had us in the wrong school district. So for the first couple of days, when I found it on my search, I skipped past my house. And we saw the house, we're like, wow, it's a perfect house for us. Like, it's perfect. We could expand, and it could be the house that we stay in. Like, that was our... And then I'm like, crap. I'm not going to pull the kids out of the Princeton schools. They're already in it. So I'm not going to have them transfer schools in high school.
Right.
And it took me about 7 phone calls, finally, tax records and calling the high school to definitively conclude that it was in actual Princeton school district. But I'm literally the last house in Princeton. Across the street, different school district. How about that?
That's crazy.
Right? So I don't know. I don't know why we don't have towns and mailing addresses based on where you actually live. What's the point?
It's another one of those quirky things about New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it's because you have this multiple municipal madness of, I mean, when you have over 500 municipalities in a state of this size, and 611 school districts in a state of this size, it just home rule is ingrained in New Jersey's DNA, and it has been since the very beginning. It is the root of many of our problems.
I would have to agree with that. Yeah. And it may be the start of some solutions. We'll talk about it. Let's go to Michael in East Brunswick. What's going on, Michael?
Hey, Bill. Good morning. How are you?
How are you?
Good.
So where do you live, or where do you pretend to live?
So my mailing address is East Brunswick, but we pay taxes to South Brunswick. So I'm on the opposite side of you, basically.
Yeah, it's the other way.
We are the furthest point. We would have had to go to South Brunswick High School, and it would have been a 45-minute bus ride.
Wow.
And we would have had to pay for a separate bus just to get us for. And the other alternative was we pay to go to East Brunswick High School, 6 minutes away, but it would have been, I want to say back then, like 12 or 14,000 extra.
So what did you do?
It was the private school.
You went to private school?
Because we went to Bishop Bar, and then
So wait a minute. You would have had to have paid a premium or traveled 45 minutes in traffic to get to school.
Correct, and pay for that bus as well.
Wow, how about that? There's something broken if that's the... I mean, right? You're supposed to have the access for no cost to you to get your kids educated. And I think that's part of the problem. And, as Eric was saying, it's like this home rule. Look, I buy that. I love it. I think hometown pride is critical. I loved it when we had the hometown pride with the high school football games and all the different things you do as a community. But it gets lost if you are deciding to identify as another town. Like, if you are a Hopewell resident but identifying as a Princetonian, no matter how many things you go through or how much you say it, you are still from Hopewell.
Absolutely.
Right?
My friend who lives...
and there's no surgery for that.
Yeah, he lives in Monmouth Junction. I know he says Princeton. I'm like,
right.
That's not Princeton. That's Monmouth Junction.
So exactly. You are from Monmouth Junction. You identify as Princeton. And it's a hard concept to wrap around. So it was just made me laugh, Michael, because the dude was so upset, like, you're insulting Middletown by calling this Red Bank. I'm like, guys, don't blame me. Blame the post office or whoever allows you to decide you can identify as a town that you don't actually live in. Right? Let's solve that first. Don't kill the messenger, guys. Thank you, Michael. Have a great rest of your day. Vinny, I'll get to you right after because I agree with you. I agree with you on the place that you're about to recommend. We'll wrap up the show with that on the other side of traffic by the next 9:46. $9:52 on New Jersey, 101.5. I know our last caller had to drop, but I want to tell you, he wanted to plug Amma Pizzeria. Let me tell you about Amma in Hillsborough. Akil is the owner of Amma, and it is a fantastic place. Somebody mentioned yesterday, or did I dream this? Because I often dream about food, about hand-rolled gnocchi. I'm looking at producer Kristen. Did somebody mention that yesterday on the air? I don't remember, but I may have been dreaming about it. It's possible I was dreaming about gnocchi. Gnocchi is that potato pasta. Kristen, did someone say that yesterday, or is this in my head?
It might be in your head.
Anything's possible.
We were talking about food, so it is possible. You always rave about the gnocchi there.
Oh, it is spectacular. And he does a short rib with it. So the meat, it just falls off the bone. It gets infused into the sauce with the gnocchi. It's not a light meal.
You just went somewhere. You closed your eyes.
Did you notice that? Oh my God. I just had a moment with the Amma gnocchi. Anyway, it's I ought to do a whole thing. Let's do a show on gnocchi tomorrow.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
I love it. I want to make it. I've never made it. I've watched videos, but I've never made it.
I'm sure Eric has. So,
you know what? It would not surprise me if Eric has like 3 different techniques
right.
of how he rolls the gnocchi. You know, it's like a pinching method. I don't know. I'm sure he does. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Anyway, check out the website, nj1015.com/Bill Spadea. The best pizza in West New Jersey, which I am defining as the Philly orientation. Right? So essentially west of 287 when it goes north and south. And anything's really south of Monmouth County in Ocean County. If you look at Atlantic County, Cape May, they're oriented to Philly. If you say I'm going to the city and you mean Philly, you're in Western New Jersey. If you say I'm going to the city and you're going to Manhattan, you are East New Jersey. And the exception would be on the finer points. The south, deep south, Atlantic and Cape May, I'm calling west, even though they're on the East Coast. And if you live in Sussex County, chances are the city for you in Sussex is Manhattan, but you are really more oriented to the Delaware Water Gap and Easton and all that. So anyway, I drew the line. You can check it out on the website, nj1015.com/Bill Spadea. For all the latest on what's happening politically, et cetera, check out all my social medias and check out the website. I'm at Bill Spadea. Follow me. My schedule is updated, and in most of the posts, when there's an event, producer Kristen links to billspadea.com/events so you can follow me on the trail. And I will see you tomorrow morning. It's another day. I will talk to you later, 6 a.m. to be exact. Enjoy the rest of this great Jersey day.
Thanks for listening to the Bill Spadea Show on demand. Don't forget to check out the latest online from Bill Spadea on our free app or NJ1015.com.